I'm struggling a bit with the irony of the place that I picked to stay at. So, tonight is night one. My family just left. As you can tell, I've already cried. For 20 years, I have wanted to make peace with myself. I've had a war that I don't think I always knew was waging inside. Sometimes I made good decisions, sometimes I didn't. I've always struggled with being a good person. And what does that actually mean to be a good person? And even talking about that just makes my stomach just makes me want to vomit a little bit, to be honest. So my family left, and I asked them to have dinner with me so I could put some good memories in a place that I must spend for a week. I must spend a week by myself. Because I want to live the rest of my life on my terms. Not on the terms of my trauma, not on the terms of my abusers in my life, not on anybody else's opinions. I'm ready to be. I think I'm meant to do some good in the world, and I think that good comes from the stories I have. The stories that are here, the stories that are here. They're not pretty stories. I've tried to make them real pretty, don't get me wrong, but these are not pretty stories. And so I came to face the stories, to face myself. I've always kind of delved into things, but I've never really given myself this gift. And so it's Sunday night, and I have until Friday morning to check out. And I'm at an Airbnb in Cape Girardeau. There's a wall here that's got the history of what this place is, and it's a schoolhouse. And it says, adjust, adapt, and overcome. Yeah, I'd have to say that I've done that most of my life. And being 2020, there's a whole lot of it. Adjust, adapt, and overcome. I mean, that theme could be for this year too. So I read the timeline. Fun fact, I actually really like history. I'm fascinated by the choices people make, why they make them, where they come from. And so reading the timeline and the story, the place that I'm in was a Montessori school. So it's a school that teaches children based on hands-on tactile things, and it gives them a lot of freedom so that they can truly learn from their core, and then eventually they actually are able to self-guide and self-adjust themselves. I didn't get that kind of childhood. That was not an option for me. And there's several quotes about people apparently thought this place was a monastery. And my biggest trauma stems from somebody that went to a monastery. Someone that was supposed to be holy. Someone that the rest of the world idolized and looked up to. But what he showed them is not what he showed me. And through therapy and through time, I have found a lot of his beliefs became mine, and I don't like them. So now I get to stop the cycle. And after this week, I look forward to getting to make my choices. I suspect that this week will have highs and lows. I'm terrified. I'm terrified to be here by myself. I know I'm not scary. I know I'll never hurt myself. Those don't come to mind. but it automatically triggers for me to not feel safe here. Nothing that the people did here makes me feel unsafe by any means. But being by myself is always when I've been hurt. So I look forward to ending this week with understanding my choices. Those that were not a choice I was allowed to make, and then the choices that I will choose from here on out. I've had 20 years of counseling, 20 years of finding all the ways to get lost. And now I'm going to spend 5 days looking at what that path really means. Giving myself permission to be ugly, an ugly crier, an ugly person. I want to give myself permission for all the ugliness I created in the world. Because I don't think as humans we're meant to atone forever. I think that we have a natural beacon to want to atone for some things. And my wife made a comment earlier today that really made me think. She said that when she met me, I was a very different person than who I am today. That part I'm proud of. That part I'm real fucking proud of. But she mentioned that when she met me that I was going down a path that likely would have ended me up exactly where I was scared of being. The person that I was terrified to become. And I have to say, I look back at the last decade and whether it was a right turn, a left turn, a horizontal turn, I don't know. But somehow I made the choices that got me here. And to whoever the girl has been for the last 35 years, I'm forever grateful because the things I've learned and the steps I've taken have gotten me to this point. But I think she's right. I think I was 2 decisions away, maybe even 1, from not getting to live this life. And all the implications that could be with that. But isn't that the truth? We all are just 1 decision away from a totally different life. And I think it comes more than just a decision. I think there's also a certain point of permission. See, we can see the choices, but the reality is you have to give yourself permission to live that life, whatever it is. So the little girl that has shown up here, that little girl thinks she can do really big things, but the way that she was taught to do them wasn't okay. So I'm going to work on forgiving her. I'm going to work on finding her. I'm going to work on healing her. And I'm probably going to work on some apology letters too, because I've hurt some really good people. And I'm going to work on not judging myself, because, well, I think that's where we start when it comes to healing. I don't know how many of these I'll make. I don't know how many of these posts I'll actually even put up. But tonight's permission starts with the whole truth. And allowing myself not to censor that for anyone. So, I'll be turning off social media. I've brought my laptop and tablet because that's sometimes how I write and draw, but I'm going to keep them tucked away. And I'm going to give myself the space and the permission to live this thing that I've looked forward to for 20 years, no matter how terrifying